Okay, there we go. Now we're back. Good there. That's up. That's up. Make sure that's live. Good. 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 Okay. So Tales of Arise. We are right at the end. Yesterday we got tons of story dump to tell us who is where, what's going on. The only thing we have really left to do in this game is to fight Volron and the Red Mage again, and then to save the world or destroy it. Whatever that's gonna be like. Here we go. Big door. Fancy door.
That's quite some door, all right. This might finally be it. The heart of the beast.
We'll find the Renis Alma and the Red Woman inside, right?
Yep, more likely.
After everything we've been through to get here, they damn well better be.
We'll probably be needing you to open this one for us, Sovereign.
Go for it, Alphen.
We also don't know what happened to the old Sovereign. One of the Crown Contest Sovereign.
This is it, guys. Time to see what secrets are in store.
Here we go. Open the door and in we go. I expect a fight. And... okay, so we have a heal point here. And we have a story point. Let's go to the story point.
We're a long way from the residential quarters now. It looks completely different.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, this place... it reminds me more of being back inside the wedge.
Except the den and astral energy feels even stronger here.
In a portion of the city reserved purely for the Renin Sovereign.
Maybe he just has strange tastes?
No.
This place looks like it has been here for quite some time now. If its design were a matter of personal preference, we would be talking from centuries ago. Or perhaps even further back. Still, this isn't the sort of decadence of taste spoken of in artistic circles. So what is it then?
Hold up, decadence? Artistic circles?
When a preference is indulged to its extreme, it descends into kitsch, eccentricity for the sake of it. I'd be happy to illuminate you further.
That depends. Does it involve you buying me lunch?
The void that art fills isn't the stomach, it's the soul.
Nice.
In that case, I'll let you know the next time my soul starts to rumble.
Now all we need is something to fill up the void inside your head.
Shut up!
Ouch! Ouch, 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 that was bad. That was bad. That was bad. Anything else? Okay. So this is where we save. We save here because this fight is going to be like maybe the last point for us to turn back. So if we don't save here to make sure that we can leave, if we need to level up or anything, that would be bad. So we're good to go. I know, it's story, so people are probably popping in and out, popping out.
Volron! He really was.
He's a battery! Told you.
And there's the Renis Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Oh, once more, the powers must be united. Born from the fires of chaos, the world does seek its rightful state. All must be sacrificed in the heart of Rena, at the shrine of the true sovereign.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself, reduced to a mere cog in a machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
maiden's crest? Can it
Yep.
be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
Hopefully not.
If that's what caused Lenegus's transformation, then the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dana.
But for
But
what
we still
purpose?
don't know why.
What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless,
Alright.
we cannot stand by and let them steal Dana's energy. That said, we should retrieve the Renaissance. Because right now, we need that most of all.
He's not
Alright.
gonna lunge at us out of nowhere, right?
Not the time, Law.
Alphen, look!
The Red Woman!
There she is.
So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
Wait!
What?
They all have the same face? How is that even
They're
possible?
clones. Of some kind, I'm sure. Or projections.
What is this?
Who the hell are they?
It can't be. Are they even people?
Don't know.
To know for sure, but I think they're the true rulers of Rena.
Probably. I'd say it's probably some alien species.
They're not feeling particularly talkative.
It's no use,
Okay,
Alphen.
so give me this.
If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting ducks here.
Good point. Let's stop them before this gets out of hand.
Inferno Pars
Alright.
Arcade!
Nope, you're not getting me. Not that close.
I'm on a roll now. That'll bring you down.
Okay, so these guys have some decent hit points.
This is looking good.
Alright, so we're just gonna have to sit there and whittle them down. This is the first boss fight. Of course we're gonna have multiples, because, you know, it is the end of the game. Yes, we're trying to. I'm thinking this is the last chain of fights. So we're fighting the Red Woman. And we still have to deal with Fulron, who's currently being a battery.
In a vine? You shouldn't have messed with me.
Stop that. So how are you doing tonight? I missed you yesterday.
You going?
It was kind of dull and boring because we did so much story yesterday. Oh my god, we had so much story. We got like the whole backstory of that was not what I wanted. Of who Nori is and where the thorns come from. And, you know, who Shion is. So, I mean, we had the great, backstory. It was so boring to sit there and listen to it myself. I thought I was back playing, okay. What was it?
Get out of this! I really am nearly done for.
Oh, that was good.
I need to pull myself
Anyway, so yeah, just working through.
You get the gist.
Yeah, nothing too serious. And first time I got hit though.
Armor won't save you!
So yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I know. Thanks. Oh, we got a problem. We got a problem. have a character down. So what I need to do is I need to switch. She's out, so put him in for him. And then he can resurrect. He has resurrected, so where needs a life ball?
In a bind? It's go time! Shine! Now you see what I can do!
I don't know why he used the life bottle when he has resurrect magic. I don't know. Oh, that was painful. There you go. We're getting there. We're almost done with the first phase. So, yeah, I know how you doing this. We got into power issues with weather.
This one's mine.
A debut performance!
Alright. Now we need to do is get the... Alright, so now we need to get the blue.
Breath of life. Heal my weak. Being interrupted.
That's up. Now we're done.
Consider yourself finished.
There we go. Waiting for that to kick up.
Surrender! Fighting is useless now!
Do you think it's really over?
Nope. Second phase coming.
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve.
Phase 2.
What?
It's self-destructed?
Alvin!
I'm okay. Just a little roughed up.
You had me worried there.
Okay, so what's next? We're getting there.
Who said you could touch that?
Alright. Here's Voron. These are phase 2.
He's awake!
I should have thought as much. So you know this place? Naturally. It was built for me, after all. We'll save that for another time. More pressing is how I'm going to tear you apart. Even after all this time, you still insist on hating me? You cut me down. Sovereign or not, you will pay for that.
You're obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Oh, I think you can.
Really, is that what you think? Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
Are you going to claim it's because you're a ruler? Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all titles given by someone else.
Plus,
That's true.
what kind of ruler would spend all his time chasing Alf, who happens to be another sovereign?
Idle prattle. I proved my worth and the sovereign's
It
powers
wasn't even
were
his
granted
final
to me.
form. No!
Were they really? We already know the title of sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown code name for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings. You mentioned before that you were not the only one stolen from Dana, correct?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, thousands.
countless. And every one of them besides me died.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Dana. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to specifically be a Danan. Then there were the records we found in the library, for you and Volron. They were logged 300 years apart, and yet the data they took from you was exactly the same. Which leads us to a single conclusion.
Then you mean Boran was kidnapped just like Alphen? but
Nope.
then he became a...
A slave from Dana. Just like us. Isn't that right, Volron?
No, he's been really
So
clone.
he posed as a Renin and caused all that suffering to his own people?
How could you? If you knew the pain of being a slave, why would you inflict that upon others?
Renin and Danon are meaningless distinctions. Me and everyone else. That is all that matters.
Ah, here we go.
I will stand above all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
Oh, there's the woman. Knew she wasn't dead.
A red woman?
Another one?
Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know I'll make them suffer.
Oh no. Here we go.
Don't do it!
This is gonna be bad.
Serenus Alma!
There goes the machine.
It's too late. Can't stay here.
We need to go. Alfred!
Right. More meaningless story. I expected this to be the last fight, not just another story delay. I mean, it's a cool scene, don't get me wrong. It's a great effect.
Go. But know I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
Dude, it's a collapsing star. I can't see you chasing us very easily.
Never forget, I am the one who devours everything. Who answers to neither spirit nor man. My word is law. I am.
Are you two okay?
Hopefully you are dead.
We'll be fine.
Is Volron... Have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
I don't know.
Those women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the ones behind all this? The same ones who put those soldiers in Faria in a trance?
What? Those brainless things? Either way, they've done a runner with the Renis Alma. Damn it, that's the second time now.
Whatever's stolen from us, we'll steal it back. The future's ours to protect. And right now, those things are what's standing in our way.
Anyway, so how are you doing?
We can head them off to Rena.
Did you say Rena?
We got the ship.
Volron mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the motherland somewhere.
If that monstrous form's their true identity, I shudder to think who they take orders from.
Yeah. There's a good chance it's not human. That's
You
for
think?
sure.
So this thing over on Rena, that's what's really behind all this, huh?
They have the Renis Alma in their grasp already, so it's unlikely they'll have cause to return to Dana. I agree that Rena's our best shot.
Then we're agreed. Let's head back to the starship.
So I mean, at this point,
Seriously, I was not expecting Volron to actually be here.
He seemed to care not one whit about Renans or Danans.
Yeah, not in a good way like with us.
all right, to the story. Get
I
that
didn't
out of
see
the way.
that coming about Volron. As for those red women, to think they were monsters all along.
Tell me about it. One minute they look perfectly human. Next
Yeah,
thing you know,
they
they're
were
not
created
actually
as
human
Zoogles.
at all.
They definitely weren't Renan or Danon. I'm not even sure language would get through to them.
So what were they then? Human Zoogle hybrids?
Is the most terrifying thing anyone said all day.
How about you, Shion?
That's about true,
Stolen?
too.
You ever seen
I
anything
agree
like
with
that
that.
before?
No, never. However, if they're the same as the red woman we've seen with Volron, I think it's safe for us to assume they understand our language at the very least.
Oh, I think.
I had just so much I wanted to ask them. About Rena and Shion's thorns.
Unfortunately, they blew themselves up before we got the chance. Why would they do such a thing, though? To take us with them? Or in order to keep something hidden?
Both sound plausible to my ears. They took off with the Renaissance too, remember?
There's
Yeah,
there's
they
just so
did.
much story in this
Next
game.
time we meet them, we're going
And
to
so
make
much of
sure they
it's
tell us everything they know.
Really not that interesting. Like I said, I like the story in the game, but it's just so... I just can't jump back to the ship, can I? Well, I can at least jump back to... No, I can't jump back. Great. Let's just do that. Since I couldn't use the heal point on the way out. We had no damage going in, so I was like, pointless. But I was gonna use the heal point on the way out, but well, let me do that, so. Anyway, we move on. I still get the feeling like this is like some alien species, and that the quote-unquote Renans are actually Danons of like a different continent or something. And like, Rinwell's people, they're just natural magic users. Or something like that. What, my variation? Or the bad guys that I live in? It makes sense. I mean, if all of them were from Dana, then they would all have a connection with the planet. Easy peasy. But if, you know, let's get our points back, since I have the option to pick it up. But if you're talking about the division between the people, well, that's easy. You know? If you have two continents on the other side of the planet, and one side is more tuned to the light side, one's more tuned to the dark side. This is the way the story was playing out up until a certain point. All of a sudden we had spaceships. It was like the Ren come from another continent, not a planet, another continent. That was kind of like the way it was played out in both story and in the story. So, you know, that was great. It was fine, no big deal. Then all of a sudden they say, oh, well, guess what? Now they come from space. And it's like, what? Why do they all of a sudden come from space? You know, it didn't make any sense that all of a sudden, you know, we have these guys coming from space. It was just weird. But if they came from a different continent, and then, that continent was more tuned to the negative side or the dark side,
You picked the wrong fight.
it'd be perfectly fine. It really fits. And then, the true Renans are like some alien species who are trying to steal our energy in order to
Shut him down.
revitalize the world to open a dimensional rip, take your pick. Insert Final Fantasy trope here. Because, you know, those punches. This is a mess. Can we do some damage here, people?
Look sharp! Lightning tiger blade!
Oh wow, I just blew out a whole bunch of them. I just blew out a whole bunch of them. One shot. So, you know, there's a lot of ways that the story could play out. That would make sense. It's just a matter of which one's the correct interpretation of the story. You know, this dungeon has not respawned monsters, so... But the treasures have respawned, so I'm gonna go get the little ores real quick. Maybe we can make something useful out of that. Ugh, no, those guys respawned. I ain't going to do that. So yeah, there's a couple interesting ideas that, you know, could play out well inside of the story arcs. No, it's because we actually haven't left the dungeon. So the only ones that are here are the ones that I dodged earlier. Or the ones that have timed out. And so as you get close to the end of the dungeon, there might be more of them. But not in like every space, because some of them were set fights that didn't respawn, and some of them are ones that, you know, I dodged. So here's the story element.
What the? When did it get pitch dark all of a sudden?
The lights are all out. Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone?
What's
You two.
Faria, Avakir. Thank goodness you're safe.
Here we go.
Here filled me in about everything. About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember a thing. So she really was being controlled.
Uh-huh.
He told me about Tarnigan, too. Is it true?
What difference does it make? What's done is done.
Stop casting me off, just for once!
Faria, not now. It can wait. Dohalim, Lenegus is in grave peril.
So I can
You
see.
think?
It's the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration still a way off.
You're an elite technician, though. You can fix it, right?
No.
If so, then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the Sovereign would issue a decree. But this time, not so much as a peep. Any
Yep,
longer,
Sovereign
we
doesn't
run
care.
the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be hearing from him anytime soon.
Yeah, no kidding.
What's that supposed to mean? Do you know something I don't?
Suffice it to say, the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought he was. That is, if he ever even existed, which is looking doubtful at this stage.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was whispering such blasphemy, they'd...
There's no time to explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegus from spiraling out of control.
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace, we just need to put people's minds at ease.
At ease? Like by letting them hear directly from someone they trust. That's it. Who's the highest-ranking person in Lenegis right now?
Totally.
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line. After all, you said the Sovereign rules over everyone directly, right?
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. And the only one left is... Ah. Very well then.
Alright, darling, you didn't like it.
Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Heed me now, fellow Renans of Lenegis. It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Elda Menancia.
Look, up there! It's Lord Dohalim!
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
Oh, here we go.
The Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid. As people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your fears to rest. The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have top engineers attending to the matter, and things will soon be back to normal. I know that you feel abandoned. Perhaps more scared and alone than ever before. But I ask you all to keep one thing in mind. You are Lenegis, not the lords and sovereign. The solidarity of its citizens is the mortar that holds it together. If we don't allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences, if we put our hearts and minds together and stand as one, I am confident we will find a new hope.
I mean, he really is a good leader.
Not as a person of loftier rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength.
Which is why he did so well in Menancia.
Persevere as one. I know.
And how he's gonna pull this around. And he bought enough time for the reactor to come back on. Which is all they needed. Just a few minutes.
Your speech seems to have done the trick. Looks like the city won't be descending into chaos after all.
Well, it's not too bad anyway.
I only pray the relief will tide the city over for the time being.
What you said earlier, about the Sovereign possibly not even existing, was it true?
I'm still not quite sure.
It's still too premature to say with any certainty.
We're still trying to sort that out.
But I believe so.
What is that?
This whole time, this world we've been fed was a lie. Built on nothing but falsehoods.
But it can't all have been...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes sense.
But what about hierarchy, Avakir? Authority? The very foundations of Renan society?
It's all a fallacy.
How can we live without someone to guide us?
I'd say we found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
What the Halim?
You? You can't be serious.
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall return. But not as your sovereign, nor as a leader, the likes of which the people here are used to, I think.
But how else do you propose to rule?
You'll see.
I'm not sure yet. All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking. One in which people won't be judged by birthright, or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like, oh, I don't know, musical talent, for example.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I said you were no different. But I was wrong.
Yeah, he's changed.
You were always different. I feel like maybe now I can finally begin to accept turn against death. To see a future.
Ah, come on. This is... I said I enjoy the story, but it just feels
You go finish
unnecessary.
whatever it is you've got to do.
It's like playing
I'll
Metal
hold
Gear
down the fort
Solid
here in
at
Lenegis
the
till you
end.
get back.
Or playing
Thank you.
Death Stranding when you get towards the end. You just have hours and hours and hours of
I
story.
guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Indeed. Forgive me.
The people of Elda Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegis who need someone to guide
Oh,
them.
yeah, commercial. I'm sorry about that, everybody.
Besides, with you leading the people here, it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be, after the second chance that I've been granted? From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this world. Though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough. Whatever would I do without you, Kisara?
Marry her.
With or without her.
When we're
I
done.
suspect you're gonna have your hands full when the time comes.
When we're done, just marry her. Call it a day. You two be fine.
We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Rena awaits.
We have 3 couples here. And they'll all be very happy. Alright, looky. Dovaline. And leader. Yay. And there's still more. There's still 2 more out here for Dovaline. She's still got one up here. Not to mention all the ones we actually do know. It's pretty sad when we sit here and do this. Let's see here. This one is defense. Don't care. This one is elemental attack. Let's do that. Revitalize gives her another healing spell. For me, what we really need was spell upright. More than anything else. That's what she really needs, a spell upright. Some of none of the others. I don't know where they're lost. Subquest Untainable Mage. Yeah, we didn't do all the subquests. There's just so much in this game. Let's see here. Resistance, resilience, what's this one? This one's defense. What's this one? This one is defense. So we don't have any offensive stuff here, so yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and pass. And you don't matter because we don't use you enough. I know we're currently using him, but, you know. It's fine, whatever.
Looks like the people of Lenegis can rest easy.
Yeah, let's go ahead and
In
do
one
this one.
sense, when all is said and done, perhaps I have been a slave this whole time too.
You, a Renan lord? How do you figure that exactly?
I was
They're all
complicit
slaves.
in the Renan system, bound by its values, resigned to being swept along, without the resolve to take a stand. And when I realized the severity of my mistake, all I longed for was punishment. A lord.
There we go.
And yet my first instinct was to place my fate in the hands of others.
I think I can relate.
Yep.
I couldn't stand watching my people
Definitely
bow and
slave.
scrape their way through life, but I didn't know what else I could do about it either. The ability to think for yourself and be your own master. That's what separates a slave from a free person. At least,
That's true.
that's what Law's
To a
dad
point.
Zephyr used to say. Zephyr taught me how to fight. But in doing so, he also taught me how to live.
Even if it means stumbling
It's a
along the
fair
way.
story.
If it's on a road of our own choosing, free of regret. Why, that's the road of freedom.
In truth,
Or, to put it another way, so long as
being
his
your
heart is
master
compromised,
is good.
even the loftiest
But
of
most people
kings
don't know
is no
how.
freer than a slave. I think I finally understand now. This Zephyr
There's
character
always
sounds like he was a
something.
wise man indeed. I only wish I could have met him.
There's just so much I wish I could ask him, especially now. I wonder, have I been correctly carrying on the torch that he passed to me?
So yeah, we are still
How long have
Clean
you
stories.
Known what?
about the darkness I carry inside me? You seem to have been aware of it for quite some time now.
Why ask me now? What does it matter? But yes, I have. I've pretty much known that something was gnawing at you ever since we left Menancia.
There we go.
So basically since the very start of our journey then. Just when I thought I couldn't feel more ashamed.
Leave the past where it belongs. We have no need for it now. You're forging ahead.
Listen,
That's
these
what
two,
matters.
married couple.
If my brother could see you, he'd be proud.
Not as proud
These
as
two
he
make a
would be
good
of his
couple.
sister, I'm sure.
Well then, just as well it's not a competition, huh?
Anybody else? Yes, we're leaving the nest.
Kisara? Anyone at home in there?
Yeah.
Sorry. Did I look distracted?
Among other things. To be entirely honest, I couldn't tell whether you were smiling or frowning.
That's
You
actually
were thinking about Dohalim, weren't you?
That obvious, huh?
There we go.
I was
That's
just
gonna
thinking
admit
how
to the
good it is
girls.
to see him moving forward at last. It was always so infuriating, knowing how capable he could be if he just put his mind to it. A prisoner trapped in a cage of his own self-doubt.
Come on.
But now, he's finally beginning to spread his wings. I'm happy for him.
So, then why do you look so sad?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say sad. There's a bittersweetness to it, I guess. It's good and strange, knowing that he won't be needing me anymore.
Oh, he needs you.
It probably sounds weird, doesn't it?
Just
I
in
have
a
this
different way.
massive worry off my mind. I should
And
be
that's the way it
jumping
works.
up
Yeah,
and down
he'll
for
needs
joy,
her.
right?
In a different way.
Must be that maternal instinct of yours at work.
And what's gonna happen is they'll
Brunel's
get
right.
married.
You're like a mother bird, finally letting go as her child takes his first shaking and nervous flight from the nest.
That sounds alright.
A pretty big child.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. I wouldn't like to see Dohalim's face if he heard you say that. All this has made me realize I can't allow myself to become a prisoner of my own making like he was.
You
If
just marry him
Dohalim can
then,
forge his
and
own
you'll be
path
happy.
ahead, then I can too. I won't be left behind.
Anybody else want to talk? Talkie. Anybody else? Okay, so I can go over here now and get the requisition dude. No, he's over. It's over there. This is the requisition dude. Okay. Hello,
What
requisition
do you
dude.
say we check back in on the ranch?
Alright, so requisition dude. So requisition dude. Only because he can use that. Okay, now. What we want to go from here is weapons, anything we don't have crafted. We can craft that, but it is below him. We can craft her gun. Look at that thing. Whew. That looks nasty. We do use her a lot, so definitely want to do that. Destroyer and Rena. Yes, please. These are expensive. I don't have a lot of money. Was being short moolah. That's gonna be a problem. But do we need some? That would be helpful. Let's see. Anything we're selling? Anything we're selling? Yeah, these are. So that off. Isn't it though? That's an amazing gun. I like it. That is one nice gun. Kinda makes me wish I had more of them. More cool guns. so that gets us back to 20,000. So he's got his top weapon. She has her top weapon. She has her top weapon. He needs his top weapon. And Dovalee will need his because he's my backup fighter. I don't use her as often, so I'm not really concerned about her getting hers. But it would be nice if, we could get Dovalee his. That would be nice. I don't need that much, though. That's all I need. Forged weapon, craft, Dovalee. He needs 13,000. Okay. Alright, so 13,000. Sure we can find that if we dig a little. And we see a little more. 14,000, craft, Dovalee's. New staff. Good.
Have you guys checked your...
And then do this, rest, yes. I don't know. Do that.
Easy peasy. I knew I could handle it.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Alright. Now we can go in. I just want to make sure you get the weapons upgraded, because defense is important. But it seems in this game, the most important stat is always your offensive stat, not your defensive stat. So, getting the weapons up is more important. But it's okay. It's not a big deal. Once we get to the ship, we'll be able to go to Rena, which is obviously going to be the last zone in the galaxy. That's going to be the last zone we have to go through. I thought it was going to be here. I was expecting us to actually go to Rena. So. Okay, so. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's not like, we have to do a lot of Zoogles in the town center. Which is good. I mean, that makes it easier. We don't have to deal with Zoogles around town. That was kind of like my word is. I was going to deal with Zoogles all the time. But it's okay. We'll get through this. And we'll get through that. And then we'll move on. So working through this. I think we've got... The story is pretty good. Overall. I like the story. It's just... Some Tales games take the side stories and... Is that the right? Yeah. The side stories and the extreme exposition a little too far, in my opinion. Like, I found the side stories in Symphonia to be very long and a little annoying, but it wasn't bad. This one, they just feel long and drawn out, needlessly in some cases.
I thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding more questions.
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix, too. Like figuring out how to reform Lenegis.
That can wait for now. We've got more than enough on our plates to deal with as it is. Like figuring out who's really running the show on Rena.
And if Rena even exists.
Which is why we're going to the Renan homeworld.
All the answers we've been looking for are on that planet.
I still think Rena may be
the Red Woman and the Renaissance.
If the Wrens actually aren't from there.
The answers have to be there. Are we prepared to finally find them?
So also like think of that as a serious lie.
So, what do we do first when we get there?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld or what we might face once we arrive. We should get a feel for how things are on the ground before we take any serious steps.
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face is an attack.
If we come across the capital, we should... What?
Look, the Red Woman. They're barring our path. Not surprising. Okay. Oh, nice! They warped the ship. And like I said, this just gets weirder and weirder. It's like a freaking Final Fantasy rerun. Let's just get stranger as we go, because it doesn't make any sense to begin with.
Damn! The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
The ship's controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut down.
That's bad, right?
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Is all of this the Red Women's doing?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
Everyone! Look there!
Welcome to the truth. The truth of Lena. It's just a shell. It's obvious Lennigus was just a collector anyway. And there's the real boss. It kind of reminds me of, like a Fantasy Star. Something along those lines.
A flower blooming out of Rena?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears Lennigus is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here. Could that have been its true purpose all along?
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lennigus are all right?
No clue.
We can only pray that they are.
Damn it! Haven't they taken enough already? When is this going to end?
When the world dies?
The flower of oblivion.
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lennigus. Is the ship still offline?
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines. One wrong move while we're out here in space could very well cost us our lives.
So what? We're just stuck inside here, floating around?
No.
For how long?
Until the Roman are ready for us to come pick it up.
I don't believe this. We've made it all this way, and now we're stuck here? We're watching Dana die before our eyes, and we have no choice but to sit here and starve to death?
Law, calm down. You're not the only one who's worried here.
Right. Sorry.
We're good.
It's still too early to give up. There has to be a way to get out of this.
Alphen.
There we go.
Now what?
The
Your
starship.
ship is moving.
It's back online?
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
Yeah. Tractor beam. I think I'm listing. I'm listing. Listing. Can we stop the list? No, we're good. Oh, we're back to Lemmigus. Or space, if it's space station? I don't know.
We managed to get moving, but where are we?
It looks like Lenegus in here.
Do you think we might run into more Renans here? Or those red women?
Perhaps. Someone brought us here. The question is, who?
Better question is, why?
We haven't been ambushed, so that probably means they aren't hostile. Still, why would anyone want to bring us here?
For the truth.
Hey, Shion!
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back on the starship. We should see where this path takes us.
Why didn't do? Move forward. Come on, people. Let's get through this dismal story that's so slow. Alright. Look forward.
I still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Yeah, our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dana, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours. Still though, I never would have imagined Rena actually looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Rena and Dana. We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst the stars in the heavens. But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the crown contest, but also the form of our own planet.
Understand why they think this is surprising.
Okay, who's the wise guy that summoned us here?
Someone formidable enough to bring our starship along with us.
They must be here somewhere. Let's find them.
Yeah, it's amazing these characters, like how
Shion, just in the nick of time.
dumb they
Here,
are.
lend me a hand while I...
No!
What the... Oh, right. The thorns. My bad.
No, I'm the one who should apologize.
I mean,
I
it's just like
overreacted.
weird.
Again, Law? Can't you even go a minute without putting your foot in your mouth?
Seriously, it's fine. I'd rather that than people feeling like they're walking on eggshells around me. Besides, I'm the one who should be vigilant about not touching you guys, not the other way around.
Actually, I've been meaning to ask. Not being able to touch people, does it ever get lonely sometimes?
Oh, but it
I
did for a
guess
long
I
time.
never really thought about it in those terms. It was either accept it for what it was or come undone. Before long, it was just part of my everyday reality. I think I even
We're
forgot there
going
was
to
another way to
finish
live.
this, I hope.
Which isn't to say I didn't feel alone. I did. Always.
So numb to your reality, you couldn't even recognize it as loneliness? I don't know how you managed.
It's fine. I know I'm not alone anymore.
But I can't even touch you. No way of lending you a shoulder when you're down? Even Alphen.
I appreciate the concern.
Ah, thank you, Jade.
Until I get
How
rid
are
of these
you doing
thorns, I
today?
guess I'll have to put up with
Did
it
you have a
just
good
a little
stream?
longer. But not forever. Alphen promised me that. Maybe it'll be soon, maybe it won't be. But either way, The day will come. And I'll be ready when it does.
Yeah, just hang in there. One
We
day,
are going
we'll
through
share a
story
big warm
time.
hug. You'll see.
It
I
was
promise.
learning how to use portals. Portals in what? I have to ask. Because we're just going through story time, so don't mind us. Or are you learning how to use portals?
Boo!
Ah, what the? Are you out of your mind? This isn't the time for games, Rinwell.
Oh, come on.
Because we're just,
How am I
we're just
supposed
going
to
through all
resist
this
with you looking
boring
all
story.
jittery like that?
Portals.
It's called
to-
experiencing feelings appropriate to the situation. You ought to try it sometime.
Yeah, but seeing you act all nervous, you're making me start
Sounds
to feel
like
nervous
fun.
too.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Staying
a
alert is important.
interesting
but too much
challenge.
caution can cloud your judgment.
But
Try to
it's
strike a
always
balance.
fun. I love learning new games. Keeping calm.
That
We're
beam of
gonna
light
get through
from
this.
Dana and
I'm
Rena.
not going to have a
It
nervous
was the
breakdown
Renan
and start
side
screaming
that
at my
first
computer
came
yet.
from, right?
So
That's
I
what
think
it
that might
looked
be more
like.
entertaining
And then the
than just
Danon
waiting
side
for the
responded.
story to
Perhaps it
drone
was some kind
on.
of directive from the Renan homeworld? To reawaken
I
the
fell
wedge in
to my
Lenegus?
death several times.
Which would mean that
That's
whoever's
better.
behind
I
all this
what
is
did you
on
put
Rena,
the cube?
after all.
Did you have a happy
What
cube?
are they after?
Or did you have
Is
a
it
dead
really
cube?
worth going through all this trouble just to steal Dana's energy?
Or did you not get that far yet?
Try to stay calm. With so many factors we don't understand, dwelling on it won't get us anywhere. What
And
is
these
it?
skits are just
No,
horrible.
it's just... Zephyr once told me the same thing.
These skits
So much
are
for me
boring,
making progress, huh?
But because
made
the
it this
game
far,
loves us
didn't
to do them,
You notice
we
something, you
have
change it.
them going.
That's all anyone can do. But you can't stand still in the meantime.
Friendship cubes are your friends. Friendship cubes are your friends. Okay, upright. Lower level, central level, upper level. Alright, you know where I am? How about lower level? Floor is inaccessible. Central level. Sure. Let's find the floor we can go to. Okay. Look, it's a floor. Look, there's drawers we can't access. And look, there's a star. I hope this is more interesting, but I doubt it.
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that?
Yes, except this one makes sense. This one's proper. Not corrupted.
It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or
Nope.
is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
Nope. This one's gonna be a friend. This one's gonna be like the one that's gonna tell us
It
what's
doesn't
really
look
going
like
on.
it can move. Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
That is
It's got
correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
Oh no.
It can talk.
It's the interpreter anyway.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that. Just what exactly are you? Are you
There we go.
somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We don't know.
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do you mean, serve? Are you saying there
There we
really
go.
is someone
The
more
real
powerful than the
truth.
Red Women? Pulling their strings?
Yeah, they're just robots. It's okay.
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way.
Nope.
Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you.
Yes.
However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Oh, goody. More riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Like it or not, it may be your best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
Who or what is going on here?
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil. The red women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time.
There we go.
Not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Dake Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's great spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. Once I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena and Dana from this position.
A question.
It's actually pretty interesting.
What is this great spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Maybe.
Correct. The great astral spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
Nice.
Just like Dana.
The voice of the great spirit speaks to our hearts
Yay,
directly.
we're getting story,
and we have
people.
served it without
Real
question
story.
throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this great spirit be the true sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus.
There we go.
If Dana has a will of its own, I don't see why Rena wouldn't.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dana has a will like Rena, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dana this whole time, just like these things.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but...
Let's assume that what Hevrect 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
That's true.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Rena's great spirit. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dana's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a result,
that makes sense.
It has turned its attention toward Dana.
And after Dana, it would go towards
is
the
necessary?
next close by.
So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
Yeah.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegus was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renasalma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Renis Alma required a vast amount of energy.
And that's the crown
That is
contest.
why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dana.
This is all happening because of me.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevrect 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
A request?
Yes,
What
go
would
kill
someone like
God.
you want us to?
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
Told you! Go kill God.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
What makes you say that?
Lenegis has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena.
Told ya. Go
If
kill
nothing
God.
is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly?
There's
Is
the
it to
question.
save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
Here's the truth.
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my
Logical
desire to
beings.
see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
Oh, yeah.
At this stage, it would be
Told you
wise
they
for you
were-
to talk with the
they were
others.
the Renans.
Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
So at this point, we could just skip the story.
Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Dake Phasal.
Okay.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us.
It is.
Let's
Going
take a
back
look
into
around.
hibernation. So... we got computers. Find others. We have a computer here. It seems to manage Havret, and we can't do anything with Havret because he is sleeping. So, I guess we're going to have to go to the next section.
You can't seriously be buying anything that creature told us, right? I mean, it's
Sure, well.
practically blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it. How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
It really
At the
wasn't a
very
long
least,
conversation.
Everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy.
Yeah,
That
lots
being
of it.
said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dana, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
I can agree with
The
that.
spirit of Rena wants to see Dana completely destroyed.
But why? Astral
'Cause it's
energy is
just
supposed to be a
greedy.
force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy Dana.
Right.
It's because it wants to eat the planet
There is
to
one other
do
thing
its
that
own goal.
concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough.
That's
But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Told ya.
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrek 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil, we never did find out just what they are either.
No.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Maybe the
Yeah.
others will shed more light on the matter.
I'm sure.
Let's find out.
Oh, I got paint on my hand from earlier today. So earlier today I was painting miniatures. And if you're looking at my Twitter or my Tumblr, you would have seen a couple of female characters that I finished painting today. And I've got a few more coming down the pipe. Like I got a what do I got? I got a knight, and I've got a dragon I'm working on right now. And it's good. They're gonna be good. I just haven't gotten finished with them yet. The knight is, I think, all but done. And the dragon is getting close. It's not 100%. It's not ideal necessarily, but it is functional. I like it. And then I've got some raptors. I got some more dudes to paint. What else do I got? I got a couple. So if you're into that kind of stuff, make sure you're looking at my Twitter. Because it'll help.
Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Yeah.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
Subjects? What? What is he talking about?
What a weird guy.
No, he's a scientist.
He must have meant Hevrect 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
Possible.
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
You think? Alright, so let's start with this check.
Have you guys lived up here in Deg Faisal with Hevrect 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
That would make sense.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current
Nice.
location due to an accident.
Oh, that's terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrect 35 ever since?
Sure.
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans.
Yep.
As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition,
That's
they also
interesting.
used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected.
That's interesting.
It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
That's a
The
good question.
Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
Ah, that makes sense.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrect 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No, they got a job.
No
They're happy
way.
with it.
If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead.
It's a fair
Things
point.
are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions.
Whether that's good or bad. Alright. Alright, so she's done. Next is a terminal. Got a terminal here. Nothing useful. Alright, next Gene.
Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
So tell us about the planetary shift.
You mean the
That's
Overseer species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh,
Here we go.
I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
Told ya. Told ya. I called it.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work to the Great Spirit after they all died. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Exactly.
Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries. They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and...
Enough. You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it.
I can understand this guy's perspective.
Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
They also created both stations and whatnot.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
No? Why would you think
Just
that?
when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while.
I swear, this group is not overly intelligent. They really aren't. Because this was all really obvious material.
Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
See?
We have a
They're
winner.
smart enough to figure it out.
However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renasalma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contest began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
Yeah.
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dana. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planetary structure.
Hence the flower.
Hevrecht 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes. And yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
I mean, you can understand their perspective.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time.
And
Who
all
knows
they've had
what
is
shape
this.
their minds are in.
And this was their job, was to monitor and
Feels
maintain
like our
this
whole
stuff.
world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for.
Yeah.
Does everyone agree?
It's only taken us another hour story.
Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Rena's great spirit being behind
3-hour
everything.
stream.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured.
Something like that.
It's all because
And it was
of astral
almost
energy.
all
And
story.
to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil.
It's been a
Then
very
the Helganquil
long.
created the Renans,
Grumpy day.
who went on to invade and rule over the Danans.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well
it's fine,
is likely because
but
they were
it's just
originally
flawed.
Danans all along.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over
Oh no.
before we decide on
Not
our
another
next
one of
move?
these.
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is
I
behind all
really
this,
just wanted
we've
to get
got a
through the
really
story,
big
but now we
fight
have
ahead of
to
us.
do this now.
Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds, too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
So we have like a few conversations.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot.
Alright,
Everything we thought we knew.
before we go,
It was all just a fabrication
swear.
that the Red Women, no,
I don't mind doing the
that
story.
the
This is
Helganquil
fun.
made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that has
side stories continue. But we'll get
Well,
there.
if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevrecht 35 was telling the truth, and this was all
So
just
yeah,
one
it's just
massive
a
lie,
long-
does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so.
It's just, it's
At
a
least I hope not.
lot of story.
I think it
We're
just
still
means we've
working
lost
through
our
it.
foothold for now.
Eventually we'll get
That's all.
somewhere, but
Really?
we just have to worry about getting through it.
Well then.
Once
If
we
we
get through the
lost it,
story, we'll
I
be
guess
fine.
we just have to find another.
It's just a matter
all of
of
us together. And if we
doing
can't
so.
find one, then we'll make a new one. End of
But,
story.
Like I said, we will achieve it.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
As we sort through everyone's side stories again. So, we have... Everybody's on this floor somewhere. They're up, they're down, they're there, they're here. Alright, so let's talk to more people. Alright. There we go. Alright.
You both seem awfully calm.
Here we
Only
go.
because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
Oh, that was weird.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the
It's
remnants
interesting when you see like the viewer count just like jump up a bunch and then jump
I get
down.
the sinking feeling
kinda
whenever I
weird.
remember how Dan and mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right?
That's true.
I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
No, but if Menancia
I
has
know
any
firsthand
indication,
just
it
how much
is
hatred
possible.
can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even
No, it's
so,
possible.
I was
So.
still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danon and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
Here we go.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Because it's
Now that you mention
dying.
it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dan is still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
It's a question that we have to ask.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
If nothing else, just to learn that they don't know. Because that's one of those things we don't know, that's fine. But it's important to make sure you know why you don't know. There's a around here? Okay. Alright. So we have one there, two down there. So let's go ahead and get Kisara out of the way.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
Like, we don't matter.
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
Which we haven't talked to
I know
Dohalim yet.
that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
Ow!
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hell-bent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But
it should make
at the
sense.
same time, I realize that not every Danon is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danons have against the Renans is long, and understandably so.
And at least 300 years long.
If people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danons, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first
That's
we
a
can try
hard
to figure out
balance
what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
No, but you can work towards a better future.
Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do.
That's
But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway.
Because
Not just that,
has
to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
that everybody can
That's an interesting way of
grow
putting it.
off of.
It's true. Everybody has their own
Just have
scars,
to get there.
their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step.
And unfortunately,
if
it will be
nothing
achieved
else.
through going through all this long story. Yeah.
And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
Okay. Next story element. 2 more, and then I can move forward with the core story. Ugh. Oh, it's not necessary, but it's a little annoying. It's very repetitive.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Yep, and it worked.
I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together? I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad and running away from the truth.
I get it,
That
yeah,
was
it
no
makes
way to
sense.
live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
She's got a good point.
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do, or who to tell.
And then what she did, she kept it together
But that's when I
herself.
finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important,
So, if we can finish this
I really
today,
care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me. To fight for them.
starting next Friday, we're
That's
just
good
gonna
enough,
stick with
right?
Mega Man
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
and play through that.
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive.
And
Law, you know you're strong enough to fight.
not,
and you're
then
strong
we'll have
enough
to
to
clear this up
protect the
next
people
week.
you
But
care about. Forget all the big stuff going on.
all this
Don't
story
lose
is
sight
just
of what you want to protect in
dragging
the
it,
first
drag
place.
on.
Sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does.
Because we're going on, what, 6 hours?
It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah, it's
I'll
like
fight to
6
protect
hours
the
of basically
people around me.
solid
Just like I
story
always have. I think that's
since we
best.
left Dana. A little bit of fighting. But most of this has been these story elements. I don't mind, but it's feeling repetitive at this point.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one.
Which means it probably isn't.
I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us.
There's also the
victims of our
opportunity
rule
to
have absolutely every right to feel
to
animosity
another
towards us
location.
Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Because you figure there are
Menancia's
at least
fate
2
was a stroke of
regions
good
that
luck.
have relatively
There had been
small
backlash over
population
how it
counts
had
right
been
now.
ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right
So,
people
I
to
mean,
help lead
figure
the way. Isn't that what you hope to
the
achieve
last
on
2
Lenegis
regions,
after this is all over?
were pretty much decimated
Indeed.
by the
I
Crown
have fully
Contest, so
accepted the
they have
burden
almost
of
no
that
people,
responsibility.
which means
In that regard,
they could
I
move
remain determined.
the
On that note,
Renans of Lenegis
I
down
have
to one of
something
those
of a
2
favor
regions
to ask of you, Alphen.
and start
Oh? What is it?
moving forward.
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes.
It makes sense.
I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan
with this
society
party-
without any bloodshed. That is why.
Being the leadership,
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
it's a good
Is it too
it's a
much?
good way to work it out.
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
That does make sense, and it will work.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll
No
ask once
kidding.
again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even
Yeah,
need
sure.
to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, but he had to ask because it's formality. Okay, so we
Well,
done?
It sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
Yay, let's go forward. Let's
What
go
about
kill
you,
the god.
Sheila? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them.
I guess that's a good thing.
Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like
There we
you,
go.
fighting to save Rena and
Come on,
Dana.
just kiss him
I
and
mean,
get her
how
with.
could I have?
I know
It's
it
been
was
going
gonna
on
hurt.
for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the
couple
Helganko's
number
part in
one,
all
go
this,
get-
it's
go
been
get her
even longer than that. It
Wait,
was
this is
Naori's
all over.
hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed.
No.
She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
Can we be done?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering.
Yay.
She said that the first step down that path
I'm
was
sorry,
for each
I'm
of us
just
to put aside our own
Disenchanted
hatred.
with the
That
long,
means
drawn out
forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving.
Political
So it goes both ways, right?
obvious
that what you're
storytelling
saying?
tropes.
Yeah, I don't just mean forgiving things
I mean,
that happen
from
in the
a
past
storytelling
either.
perspective,
Conflicts will keep
this
happening.
game does,
If we have any hope of moving on
make
and
these
building a better
people
future, we have
feel
to
like
all learn to
real
forgive each
people
other.
in real world situations, the way they would probably
You're right.
act.
People can
But
hurt one another
We're
without
also
even meaning
in
to. I know that
a
better
video
than
game
most, thanks to
where
these thorns.
shortcuts are allowed
It's not
in
going to be
storytelling.
easy getting past this pain.
And
But if
sometimes
we
it's
can do
better
it,
on the storytelling.
I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there
However,
with
I
you,
still
Shion.
maintain that this particular
I
game's
too want to
storytelling
protect the world we live
and
in
the story that's
and all
being
the
told
people we care about.
is
I think that's the very
relevant
least I can
to
do
today's
to repay Naori for
if you
everything
actually pay
that she
attention to what's
did.
going on in the real world.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in.
It's a
and I'm going to fight
very
for it.
telling story to remind you
Well
that
there, Savior Girl.
you're
We're here to
supposed
save
to
you
be
too,
more
you know.
honorable,
Yes, I know.
friendly.
Don't worry.
And that's a
I haven't
confrontation.
forgotten. I want to live. And that's the honest
Which
truth.
is really like one of the big underlying stories in this game. Is that particular thread.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dana's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
Yep, there's your first word for the day.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
There we go. More
Like
story
they're all
for no
said,
reason.
If we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone
I don't know if it will really
is
take
enough to make
existence
it our
with it,
enemy.
but it will take your whole home.
But it's not only that.
As well as obliterate all your
One way
spirits
or
and
another,
lives.
I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Shion.
You're saying there's a chance?
Not big, but there's a chance.
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
Not really.
We don't know
maybe.
anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
Which makes more sense.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Just a fragment.
Shion.
And it makes sense.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
Good girl. Now,
The
so
question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet.
It's good.
The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
Who will survive?
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to Naori.
We'll figure it out. We'll go. We won't die.
Hevric 35 has been
Hopefully.
observing the great astral spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is.
Alright, everyone's
Our
returned.
minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
Letting us today.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renaissance stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
Well, yeah, because they
More
figured out how to do it
importantly,
without.
who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Until we show up on,
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships the people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine. I'm sure of it.
Right.
If they're smart, they'll just evacuate. That's the thing, if they're smart, they'll just evacuate. Let's check the upper level. Because we have no clue what's on the upper level. Can't remember yet. Alright, so... Can we go this way? Oh look, we can go this way. Oh, okay. Apparently. Wow, we're pretty far away. So, based on real cosmology, if we can see Dana and Rena at that scale, that means they're really close together. And they're really small, or they're really small. But they're really close together. I'd say they're probably, what, maybe 500,000 kilometers apart? And we're probably maybe twice that. They could be as close as 1,000 kilometers, but artificially forced to stay in orbit.
Do you have your answer for me? We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that?
There we go.
You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
We don't know.
By using the Renus Alma.
Of course.
You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
Yep.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Question.
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
Oops.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There we go.
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world.
We get that.
It is irrational.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her.
That's what we knew.
300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the great spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the great spirit, attacking it is futile and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renis Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it.
Yes.
If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renis Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Okay.
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony. Considering that the Renis Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed, I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
We're gonna lie.
I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed.
Nice.
We want to save it.
Push it,
but
dude.
not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Oh, he's had enough.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
Thank you.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
Which would make sense.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
Yeah, it's probably using
So
the
right in the
Alma
middle
as a
of that giant
direct.
flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
That's actually a good question.
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Nice. I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Have that 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all.
Can we finally go kill God?
Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrick 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Rena right away.
Next.
Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrect 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
Yeah, that's right. Next. Anybody else? Anything else? No? Good? Okay. Let's move on. Next on the story element, we have a dude to talk to. Or dudette in this case. Take some time to complete repair your ship. I suggest y'all get some rest. Rest. And then we just need to do some more story. Yay!
You still thinking about what the scientists told us?
When I get the opportunity,
about
I'm
where
going to say.
Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
So that, you know, if anything happens,
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
More unnecessary dialogue.
I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead.
It's okay, it's okay.
Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
We are
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
Nope, it's because she's in love
I'm no
with you.
saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were.
Yep.
I hated them just for being Renan.
Yep.
But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light.
Yep. And
thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives.
She will marry
Of
you
course,
happily.
I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
Yeah, not a big deal.
That is, in essence,
difference
the heart
is-
of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
You know, just...
Yeah, it is.
Large.
When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance
I
to come to an
know,
understanding.
it's so boring.
But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop
And again, they
thinking of
talk
them as
about
people
real-world
that you can relate
concepts
to.
and objects.
I understand
And
what
it
you're
makes
saying.
sense. It works,
But we're
you
talking
know?
about massive numbers
It's
of
true.
Renans and Danans alike.
But
Realistically speaking,
is it really
surely they won't all
necessary?
be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads
You know,
with one
to tell the
person,
story.
maybe we'll find better luck among their
They're trying
friends.
to tell.
If we
I'm
can
not
build
saying
a
like the
society that
science
works
story.
like
Science was
that,
fine.
that'll be
But
something
for
worth
the
nurturing and
core story
protecting.
here, is this really
So you wish for people to
necessary?
form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright.
Necessary for us to
Deal with one another as humans, and nothing
move
more.
on to the end of the
That's
world.
the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
And I don't
Yes,
think
I
it
do.
is, personally.
I think it
It'd be
would
a
make
great
for a
side
fine
skip.
tribute to my brother's legacy.
You know?
Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost.
I think it's a nice side
Do
skit
you still
talking
plan
about
to
this.
return to Lenegus when this is over?
But,
Indeed I do.
you know,
I don't
I
know
think
whether
it's
I'll
just
be able to reside
unnecessary
in
in that
Lenegus
respect.
proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind.
Yes, she did.
Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
That's the first time she just showed her.
And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I do too.
Couple number 3 finally realized that they can get married. Thank you. Couple number 2.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before. About whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that.
Hateful. Just being himself.
I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Because it makes more sense.
I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Or at least be neutral.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
Yeah.
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right?
So
But
we've
you
got
trusted Rinwell,
couple
and that's
3
enough
who's
for me.
finally admitted the fact
So
that
I'll
they
trust
like
it
each
because
other.
you do.
Kind of.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us?
Which would make sense.
In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
In a sense.
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna make sense.
Hefrick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become.
Come on, I want this couple to admit they like each other.
Thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Oops. I think something fell over. I'm checking my after that, but I'm not there yet.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No. What were you saying?
It's almost
Saying?
there.
I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
Kiss her. Just do it. We gotta laugh and stuff. Alright. They still can't admit they like each other. Boring. At least couple 3 decided
sure
they
you
liked
don't want
each
to
other.
get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind.
So we're up in the
Especially
upper
knowing
deck.
how close our last battle is.
We're getting there. Oh my goodness.
How are you
we're
doing,
so
Shion?
close.
Same as you. Still
So
trying to absorb
much
everything.
Story of nothing. We'll get there though. We're almost done.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Time to go kill a god. Come on, kill a
Ages
god
and
now.
ages ago. Everything that's
I want
happened
to
since we
kill
first
a
met.
god.
So many fights, so much chaos.
Come on.
So many wonderful people.
I want to go kill a god.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Because we know this group can't guess. As you know, until our
If we
phones are
can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrect 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma.
Nope.
But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
It's a good last resort.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything that
Listen,
we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans
I'm
alike.
so ready for the boss battle. Can we
We
go
don't
kill
know
God
what's
now?
going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Yes, just in case we have to do the worst possible errand. Answer.
Okay.
If we have to take the last option,
But you should know that I'm not
Yeah,
going to
plan
give up
F.
on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end.
we'll go to plan F if necessary.
I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen.
And that's okay.
Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Good.
Thank you,
Now let's go kill God.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
As long as we can go kill God now. I'm sorry, it's very dull and boring to get through this story.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
I don't know why, I just...
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
That's okay.
You think so?
My controller's just fine ready for everything at all.
Shiana,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Come on. Let's go kill God now. God must die. We just want to kill God.
Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
Yeah.
We're fighting for a new future
Simple
for
answers.
both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds.
Simple solutions, simple problems.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Yes.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
Yep.
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign,
Here we
your
go.
identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy.
Yes, it is.
Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
Good circumstances.
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable.
And yet...
Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand.
Actually, a good statement.
Time to get back on the Fall Knights.
Okay, so before we even go anywhere, we need to save. We're gonna use save 3. So, from here on out, we're using save 3 for the Dick Faisal, and it is important that we do so because we don't know what our options are at this point. I don't know if we can go back to the planet. I don't think we can at this point. I think at this point we're stuck. Going for
It would
boss
appear
mode.
that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
Sure, here we go. And they're not really going that far. I mean, they're going a really short distance. They're only going a couple hundred miles. And it's a couple 1,000 from where the station is, but really going through the shield is only a couple hundred miles. So it's really not that surprising. Oh, they didn't even show the warp. They just popped us on the planet. Man, as much nice visuals as we've gotten, as many cool effects as they've produced, they didn't even show us landing on the planet.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world has
been sucked in. It's all the core.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
Yeah.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
Oh, they're just now
And it
figuring
bound the
this out.
Helganquil in servitude until their whole
So
world was
crazy.
nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
It's... What
We can
makes
be
this
sure that
annoying
even these
is that
few
it's
remaining remnants of Renan life
been
will not be spared in
many,
the end.
many
If the
hours.
oblivion and darkness both
And
Shion
they
and
basically just
Maori saw
reiterate
comes
the
to
same
pass,
story over the last
nothing will survive.
7 hours.
It looks like we can climb down from there.
Just in different
take a look.
ways, with different fragments of information adding to the puzzle. Destroyed remains of Ron.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began.
So...
Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate. Ever.
There's story elements here. Apparently we have the ability. Okay, so we have... Great, that's good news. So we have the ability to go, anywhere we've been previously. So let's go ahead and save that now that we can save. And we know that at this point, we could in theory, go back to Dana and,
a hollowed
do any
ocean as
fish
far as the eye can
sacrifice.
see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
No, I wouldn't. No, thank you.
I'll pass.
Nope, I'm good.
This is essentially a world-sized
I'm
Renan
good.
graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your
Definitely.
curiosity, Law?
No,
we're
because I
good.
said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Yeah.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
No, we're
I
good.
was already snorkeling in it or something.
Who would want to go swimming in it?
So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renaissance.
So just figure out the last of these side stories before we go
How
down
do
the
we
hole.
do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
No, it's
I
gonna be rough.
already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength.
No.
It's that it's sentient, too.
Yeah.
And you can bet
that's
anything
power.
you like, it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
No, it's
In
gonna
other
fight.
words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renaissance, which we can then use to seal it away forever.
Now we're getting a plan.
It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up.
Well, at least it's a plan. Alright, next part of this, right?
Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll
Good
the
point.
world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The
There we
world will
go.
have to adjust to so much. My only
It'll
worry is
fit,
if
so-
those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
That'd be
what do you
fine.
mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's
Yep.
all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Again.
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages.
And it's always
The
been that
world
way.
is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
And we do
If
the
only
same
we
thing.
could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in
That's a good
power
point.
to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A
Ah,
world where
the
magic and
example.
astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell.
Except
Why wait
that
for somebody else?
Anybody who's
We
got
can
the
show them
ability or
ourselves.
capacity to do good, they can also do evil. It's a very, very common problem. That's all I know. Right, so, now I've got that out. So, going down the hole, we're gonna use, once we go down, we're gonna use, save 1 as we go down the hole. And, like I said, this is the last dungeon. We do have, the ability to go back to the planet that I've been to before. So we can go back to Dana, and we can go back to Lenegus, and we can go back to, what is it, whatever. We can go back to, that area.
Looks
Really,
like we
no
warped into that pit of
use.
astral energy.
for it, but oh, Jesus.
I wonder what Helganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Move forward.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
Oops.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
You think?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We're good.
Hey!
You know what I mean?
Hey, I just realized something.
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
No! I mean, wait. You fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right.
So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh.
Yep.
But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, while I've got you, what's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking maybe meat.
Get him, Hoodle.
What did I do?
Now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hoodle.
Ow, ow, ow! Seriously, what the hell?
That's funny. Alright, next one.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again.
We haven't
One thing's for certain.
done
in this
anything
world,
here.
It's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana.
I mean, come on.
Let alone up in Lenegus.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
Not necessarily.
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
Yeah?
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well,
That's true.
I guess when you look at it
I don't know why
way,
this conversation's even necessary.
people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a conversation. It's like, I get it. It's an interesting topic of conversation, but we're supposed to go killing God. I was like, why does that story even matter? Oh, here comes the dark astral energy. Oh,
Helganquil. Guess they don't need their red woman disguises anymore.
Well, no, it's on their home planet.
Can you understand us?
No. They're going to attack you.
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
It's fine. Y'all gonna get an ad, have fun.
I knew there was something off here.
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game. Here goes! Freezing storm! They got me flanked!
It's okay, no problem.
This one's mine!
I mean, we got a bunch of these, but they're not boss tier, so... Because they're not boss tiers, it's not that big of a deal. It's fine. It's gonna go through pretty quick. And I know you're probably listening to some ad right now. But it's okay. It's fine. By the time you get through your ad, we'll be able to just whatever. The vet's still gonna be here. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Goodbye. Works for me.
Alphen.
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danon slaves?
Hey, you got a point.
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine.
I hate for it to be like this.
Let's just go kill God,
but if it happens
please.
again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now,
so we got
this whole mission is over.
new stuff.
We have to stay the course.
We have some Zoogles. We should have a crafting station up ahead somewhere. We do need to kill all this stuff. Okay, so we're looking at level 52s.
Let me know if you need healing. Now you see what I can do. Can't get out of this.
These ones can run rings around us.
This one's mine.
It's fine.
This one's mine. Cyclone.
A whirling
There we go. So yeah, we're just gotta go through the dungeon.
A whirling struggle.
Once we get through the dungeon, we'll be okay.
Too fast. Stand back. I'll trip it up.
It's fine. So it's not too bad. It's just a matter of just getting through the boss. Ooh, that's good. So yeah, it's just a matter of just getting through it all. But we should be able to, unless there's a lot of zones, which I don't think there's going to be. I don't think there's going to be a lot of floors. And there are, what? 3 teleporters up top.
Nice one, Alphen.
Yeah, there's more where that came from.
So we're gonna have a midpoint, and then we're gonna have one probably right at or after the boss to take us back. Now destroy
I
Ellen.
thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Of course
Hey,
it does.
these guys built Lenegis, remember? He probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit?
Not
Or
originally.
rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for?
Ah, see, that's the answer. See, now she's figured it out. It's not that they can only do it for one task. That they're only allowed to do it for the one task. That's the catch.
Is this... It's a dead end.
It appears this whole
It's an
room
elevator.
functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
Alright, well.
We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the
But we've
Great
also killed a
Spirit.
few Zoogles.
To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean?
Yeah, if they were dealing with a dying planet.
You don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renan Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
I don't think that it would have been possible
On
if
the
it wasn't for
contrary,
the Captain
I should
Spirit.
like to take a leaf from your book myself. In Tragedy's Aftermath, hope is all we have.
Because the Spirit corrupted what was left of their race.
Just look at the size of that thing.
It's crazy.
And how Ganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. Oh, even before that. Just how many people, Renan or Danon, do you think have ever seen this?
Regarding the past 3 centuries, at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, well, I get that it's impressive and all. I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
Nope.
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us.
Didn't
Why
pop
make things
this
harder
one
for
until
ourselves?
after we got into the
You know what he's
elevator room.
like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
There's just so many of these side stories.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind
it's
controlled
already
with the Helganquil. Do you
too
think
many.
it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Danans?
I'd say it's likely. Which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Danans.
As I was just
all of
getting
their own
through the
volition,
story.
not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Danans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Shion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us.
That's right.
Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
Brainwashing and conditioning.
What'd he say?
He said, without a doubt.
You know, also have a lot to do with it too. So. Alright, going down. Now, how many more of those skits are we gonna have?
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate.
There we go. Very beautiful. Just have to... Just keep these guys on the ground if we can.
Sia, can you take care of them?
Well, we're doing well. Get on the ground.
What'd she say?
We got 3 left.
Me? How come I get singled out?
They've got me surrounded.
There we go. That's not a big deal. And it's no problem. We only got 4 creatures out there.
This ends now.
Just kill that one off.
There you go, Alphen.
It's
It's time to end this battle.
I'm right beside you.
There we go.
Now I'm in the groove.
A whirling struggle. I owe you, Dion.
Healing is what my arts do best.
Alright, here we go. I find it interesting that, I still find it entertaining that the
Now I'm real mad.
subspecies
Where are you going?
that has the link to the dark side.
That'll bring you down.
Yeah, the dark energy cores is also the one that has all the healing parts. Which is kind of an oxymoron.
Look sharp.
You wouldn't think that, you know, the dark side energies would be prone to healing or protection magic. And yet, the Renans have healing magic as a core tenet. And because they have a core, it's a core tenet, you know, it's one of those weird things. So it's kind of odd. One of those things that you notice, but you don't think about usually. There you go. Now we're gonna have to. This is a nice, long, fight.
Where are you going?
And we're working through them, and it's just one of those chain fights. It's a really common fight where you fight the elevator and everything goes down the hole. So it's not that bad. It's a great thing. It's a nice cliche fight, and it's not like it's hard, and that's good. Because it means we're actually decently leveled for where we are, and we're not actually, you know, under-leveled, which was my fear, is that I'd have to stop and go level up, and then come back. Yeah, that was the biggest concern that I had, because we really haven't gained much experience in the last 2 days. So it's, you know, and that's important. It really is important. So we're good now. We're making serious progress. We're almost done. That's the last one.
I can feel my precision improving.
So we gained a whole bunch of equipment.
Even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zoogles somehow?
Whatever they are,
They're
they're
Zoogles.
dangerous. Watch yourselves around them.
Now I'm expecting to find a point at some point that we'll be able to use to heal, repair, whatever.
You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, and if we go down, we should find the Great Spirit at the
Jump
bottom.
down the hole?
We could get there even faster if we simply jump down instead.
You sound alarmingly
called it.
serious when you say that.
I called it. I said we could jump down and... Alright, so... we have a lot of fights in here. We are definitely going to take all the fights we can get. And the reason we're going to do that is because we really need the experience. We need the extra experience. Our characters are doing well level-wise. But what we really need is two things. One, money. Because we're getting all these new items, and we can't make the equipment if we don't have money. The other thing that we need is the parts for whatever it is we can make by being here. So we're getting there too. You know. Not a big deal. So we're working through it. It's fine. But we need everything. So that's where we are. Okay, so we are currently level 50. And we're fighting 52s. We've maxed out our thing. We have the experience boost on. And we have Zoogles. The livid wolves.
Get in, get out.
Come on. That works for me. That works for me.
I'm like bait to them. No further.
Alright, give me some break. Give me a break. Goodbye, boys. Because we love you, Zoos. I'm glad we're back to fighting things. Because, you know, I don't mind the story, but there's just so much of it. As we've spent so much time doing story over the last 2 days that I'm thinking it's going to take a third day just to beat the game. I was not expecting us to spend another, 2 hours today doing story elements. I was not expecting that to be a thing. You know what I mean? It's just... But we do have to, you know, check everything, because we need all of the gear and all of the money that we can get. And oh my goodness, look at that Zoogle. He looks brutal. A two-headed dog, he's cool though. Alright, well. In for penny, in for pound. Are you what's in that chest?
Right, here goes. Burn. One more. A whirling struggle. Winds of heaven. First floor. You
Sweet, that went off nicely.
Now you see what I can do. A whirling struggle.
There we go.
I'll crush you.
Alright. I think we have 2 of these go off at once. Yeah, I think it was 2 of those that went off at once. We only saw 1. There we go. You all get rooted, please. Because that's useful, in fact. Rooting these guys up is a very useful fact.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Not today.
A whirling struggle.
Alright, we're getting there. We're almost done. We got 1 down.
Coming through.
This is gonna kill another one, I think.
Scarlet Inferno.
No, it's still alive.
Now you see what I can do.
Not too bad, and the wolves are dying pretty good.
So much for sitting this fight out.
Alright.
Nope, that isn't silly.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I think I might want to swap Law out for Dolly. If that somebody else, we can get that extra.
Say no more.
Healing set.
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look
Because
who's in a
Stolium does
bright,
have healing
shiny
spells.
mood.
Okay, so the
The
canine
design of this
vest.
equipment is really interesting.
You must really like it, Alphen.
Too bad it's not his. Because his gear is different. We actually can go to. That's his gear. So yes, definitely need to work through this. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be long and boring, and I don't know. It's a thing. Alright. Down we go.
I'm okay, guys.
Look at this monstrosity. It's one of those bug reaver jobs. Yeah, we're gonna kill you anyway.
Get lost! Ready and get out of this! I require complete focus! Glacial spear! Here's evil! Purge malevolence! As if the normal creepy crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
Yeah, do that. She's has the ability to stop people charging.
I'll crush you!
Alright, that's good.
Lightning reflexes! 10 of
Alright. So like I said, depending on how long this seems to want to carry on. Though I'm thinking at this rate we're probably still going to have to finish the game next week. But because we still have to get down the whole place. And we really could use some more levels, I'm sure. Leveling nicely, but I don't know if we really have enough. And we're killing all the monsters quickly and easily enough. They are above our level. They're, 52s or so.
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
But it's not too bad.
Look sharp!
Because even though it's, it's good fights.
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case. These structures don't look like anything built by the Renans, or even what we saw in the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps this is the true architectural style of the Helganquil. Or perhaps the opposite, given their situation.
You mean like how some places favor building stuff with stone, while others rely on wood?
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
It is,
I'll have
actually.
to inquire with Hevrect 35 about it sometime.
That's actually a good question. So, we have this room, this room, this room. And they'll pop out here, and then we'll come down to here. And we don't have all the floors yet. But we're getting there. And like I said, we've got chest over here. We've got money. Good, we need that. Yeah, we've got everything we need. So I'm thinking we're going to have to continue to finish this next week. Because just based on the amount of superfluous story that they've been throwing at us, I'm suspecting there's going to be another hour or so of story. Involving the boss, and then afterward I suspect there's going to be another large block of story. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get down as far as we can. We're going to get down to probably the next checkpoint for the story until we get to the next star area. It might be where we can actually heal. It might be the next, like a rest area. You know, whatever that point is, that's where we're gonna stop for tonight.
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, so when we hit the rest point, or we hit the one of those boss checkpoints, that's where we'll stop for the night. But we do have to get to one.
Not today. Bring you down.
Smash you! I can't get out of this.
I'm only getting
It's fine. It's really not that big of a deal. And like I said, we're leveling up nicely. I don't know if our food buff is still active. I don't think so. I think the food buff's gone. Might still be out there. Is it? No, food buff's still good. So we're still getting the extra experience from the food buff. Hi! Lily turns and looks at us. What do you want? I'm gonna eat you. Let me eat you. So there's a mineral over there. That's fine. And there's a breakpoint here, so blazing sword.
Those
there's a chest.
I'm not letting them get in our way.
Alright, chest it is. So if it says holy cloak.
And thus our strength yet grows.
So it's a holy cloak, which means it goes to... Alright, so there is hers. My guess is there's going to be 6 of those as we delve down. And we'll find one, as we'll find one armor piece for each character. So, yeah, we need to find them all, but we'll get them as we go through. As long as we remember to hit all the side points.
Armor won't save you.
But that's not what I want. Oh, listen, this is this guy. This is the guy that does the cloaking thing. You know, it's fine. You know, we actually know how this guy works, so. It's just a matter of, burning through him. Come on, man, I gotta wait. Oh, that was weird. Alright, so is this thing gonna come running at us? No, we got a Mystic Guard, which is fine. It's doing some good damage.
Scarlet Inferno!
Here, let me help.
Take this! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield
That's what that was for.
Get behind me.
I'll leave it to you.
Okay, so we're running low on CP.
This is bad, right?
So let me use, what is it, the orange gel? Yeah.
Yes, Alvin. Very bad.
I don't feel so good.
Yeah, you're fine. Just take it out. Magic just died.
Bring you down.
An astral voice?
That's my cue.
I'll take that.
Shut him down.
Yeah, that's it.
Lightning tiger.
Sweet.
Am
So,
I on a roll or
chameleon
what?
hide.
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Maybe get some cores. Alright, so next room. So we should have, I think after this area, I think we're going to get, oh, look like that's that. The first of our checkpoints. Remember, at the surface there was 2 checkpoints.
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
So, with there being 2 checkpoints,
I'll stop your movement.
we haven't hit the first one yet. That's okay. Because if nothing else, we have the ability, once we're all said and done, we can always go take out, to the planet or whatever. Or let's go to the ship anyway. I think we can do things in the ship.
Stand back. I'll pick it up.
This one's mine. Will this help? I'll tear you apart. That'll bring you down.
That's better.
I'll stop your movement.
So as we get to the next checkpoint, then we'll be able to, do what we need. Because I think we can go to the ship and do, like, rest and repairs and
Must
so
be
on and
easy
so
to
forth.
pick off the bad guys from far off.
It is. I mean, aside from adjusting for movement, wind speed, trajectory.
See? Easy.
So we have nothing here except for that guy. And we have a chest, so get that. Okay, heavy treat. That's fine. So next room. As I normally I'd take every fight, but we do kind of want to get to the next checkpoint soon. Ah, look. The next teleporter. And look, it's some dudes. These guys are 2 different individuals. So yeah. I'm gonna guess 2 fighters and 2 casters.
Get lost. 1,000 gales tear you to shreds. Here. I'm going to need to use all
I'll finish you here and now. I'll smash you.
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see how it works out. But I think once we get to the next section, we'll be able to do our teleport. To go back to the ship. That was, I didn't realize I could do that. He must have just came up. I wasn't expecting that. So anybody who is not following, I do recommend following, because once we finish this story, which looks like it's gonna be next week, we will be continuing with Mega Man Battle Network 4, which we started last week.
Well, I'll do my best.
And I don't know if we're gonna do anything else from that. I don't know what we're gonna do after that. But I know for a while we're just gonna do like just 1 game rather than 2 games a week. Because I'd like to, oh my, be able to progress faster in the games we are playing, rather than taking, so long to burn through a game. Yeah, we can burn through the game that we've been doing it like in a couple months, but 40-hour games like this when you're doing 3-hour streams.
This might be some decent equipment.
No, it's not. It's
Anything
horrible.
that makes battles easier is okay by me.
Lucky Bagels are horrible at level 1. And if it was level 5, that would be awesome, but if I had to power it up. there's a teleporter to go back to the top. I'm expecting it to be around here somewhere.
This one's mine.
Can't get out of this.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
I think I'll pass on the handshake. Magic is dead.
But, you know, I guess. Alright. Very good there. That might do some help. It's fine. We're doing good.
Be careful not to overdo it.
Like I said, we're doing well. We're taking out everybody pretty quickly. I'm gonna have to buy some orange gels then. But I got tons of this peach gel. But orange gel are the ones that we don't have an unlimited supply on. I don't mind using them. But it'd be nice if we actually had a few more.
Charge like that can easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Got it set. I mean, I can use another orange gel. I think I'm gonna have to. I do. I think I'm gonna have to use another orange gel. Yes.
My fits are
we're not
crushing it out
getting,
there.
you know, rest points or heal points, whatever.
That's no ordinary enemy I see over there.
And of course we get a gold one. Nice. That's gonna delay our progress. As it, I wish we had a, you know.
I've got a really bad feeling about this. Where are you going?
A nice checkpoint here. Just being able to go back to the ship would be at least something. That would help. Because at the ship, we can, check it out. So anyone who's interested in any past streams I have or any other videos that I'm doing, you can check out my YouTube and see what's going on there. If you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons, or miniatures, definitely check out my Twitter, because that's been a huge topic of conversation over on my Twitter account lately. So that is a great place to connect and see what's going on. I'm gonna go over here and see
That
what...
enemy looks strong. I bet it'll be worth
Yeah, that chameleon's guarding something.
while to fight it.
Look at that! We have this huge chameleon, and we have that guy. They're guarding a chest in that corner. What in the world, boys? I'm serious, that's crazy. Anyways, that's what's going on over, you know, on, Twitter. I tried.
Looks like trouble with capital T. Together we got this. No further.
And I tried to just, you know, avoid it.
Here's a healing arc. Waterfall. Freeze Lancer.
Dodge, dodge, dodge. Get out of that thing.
Easy ensnaring to me.
That was in the middle.
I'll crush you.
It was in the middle of the thing, and it's like,
Lightning reflexes.
oh my gosh, this is a mess. Two large monsters.
What my arc can do.
That's a mess.
Now I'm in trouble. Complete focus.
Thank you. We're gonna have to change this. I need to.
I can carve through armor. In a vine.
I need to have him out here with us. Because we need the extra healing abilities. Especially with the, with two of these boss creatures. Having two healers is the best choice. It's not a big deal. I mean, it is a mess. I mean, we have two healers now, which is, but we're gonna be burning through everybody twice as fast. It's fine. As I we're working through it. So it's not bad. It's just a matter of getting through it and getting to our next checkpoint. Now, I could, you know, break it any time. Thankfully, we can save anywhere, which is amazing. But, I really wanted to get to the next checkpoint if we can.
Maybe she'll keep our...
Or at least next story point.
She is strong.
Something.
She can handle it.
You can be really dense, though, Helene. None shall escape my
Heal my weary companion.
Sorry. I didn't want to
Yeah, there we go.
It's time to finish this!
Oh! She doesn't really do this.
Consuming wildfire!
She doesn't normally shoot hers off.
You picked the wrong
And we see laws go off all the time. We see elephants go off all the time.
This one keeps charging us.
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
But, and I never get mine off. Mine never happens. So let's be fair. Mine never happens. Depending on how many oranges we use, this we may have to, we may have to, do a little bit of farming in order to have enough money to do this. It's comfortable. Because not having, you know, at least 10
Am I on a roll or what?
or
Well, look who's in a
15
bright and shiny mood.
of the CP boost. Okay, you're fine. Over here. Puts us in a bad spot. Especially when we don't know how many floors are ahead of us. Now, when we have, like, a known floor or anything like that, it's not a big deal.
That
Grab
equipment should
plate.
come in handy.
Right, and that's actually, elephant's gear. No. Who gear's that? Oh, she already had her elemental garb, which she wasn't wearing. And I just got her replay. Where's 3? So that's 3. So we have... Considering the time and where we are in the dungeon, I think the next floor should have our checkpoint. I think the next floor should have the checkpoint.
Ignite! Now you see what I can. I'll finish you here and now.
I never miss.
No further.
There we go.
What would I do without you? You're dead.
That's a mess.
Free Lancer.
So the big thing we need to worry about is being able to make everybody's weapons them as the top weapons that we can make, and then being able to replenish our gel supplies. Because frankly, at the rate we're going to be low on gel.
In a bind?
And that's not good. So I'm not looking forward to that. You know, we do need more gel. But we don't really have the money to buy a lot of gel, so... I think we'll have the money to do the weapons, but I don't think we'll have the money to the gel. Maybe. Maybe. It's kind of a hard thing to judge. Because the last weapons were 13K. And these weapons will probably be 15K? I mean, if there's 6 of us, that means we need, what, 9? No, 36.
They really made us work for that one.
Yeah, 90. It's about 90,000. And we only have 26. So we are way behind the 8 ball on the money train. Do we need the money? Yes, we do. Do we have the money? No, we don't. I'm going to try to avoid this guy. Well, I want to get to the next floor if I can. Get that next checkpoint, because I know there's going to be this one hard boss before we get there. And here it is. This is a chameleon with 2, those guys. And I guarantee you these guys are holding something pretty. I bet it's a piece of armor suit.
Here goes! Burn in hell!
Here goes! Healing fire, complete focus.
Just gotta get rid of all the little pests first. Not that you can hear anything anybody says, to be honest. You know, you can't understand anything inside. There's just so much across them. But the interesting thing is that we have 6 characters and all of these spell effects going on at one time. And the audio is mixing them well. Most of these games, when they have this many audio tracks, you have things cutting out, you have them they're cutting out, you only hear like 1 or 2, you don't hear all of them, and we've got like, what, 4 going at once. Stop the charge!
Healing is what my arts do best.
Alright, well that...
All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction.
In this general chat log, when things happen, like healing and so on, then you have the 4 of them chanting whatever their current attack is simultaneously.
Poodle's quivering! I think we're about to be real lucky!
And... okay, the elemental
Thus
cape,
our strength yet grow.
which is his. Alright. That's 4. Which means everybody except these 2 have received an upgrade in here. Which is good. How is our CP doing? still okay in the CP. I don't need to pop another gel. And we still get these Hellgoblin, and we have... There we go. Get out of here. And the Hellgoblin, we have the, chameleon dude, which I think is the more dangerous one than the Hellgoblin. They're not overly difficult, but these guys are definitely on the hard side. Yeah, it's definitely the issue.
Here's a healing arc. Purge malevolence. Arthur, purge malevolence.
It's fine. It's fine. We're good.
I'm going to need to use all the power of my healing arc.
Not him!
Gotta hold it together. It's do or die.
Drives me nuts when it changes targets like that.
Want me to pick up your slack then?
You know, it's kind of annoying. It's not a big deal.
I mean, you're even better than ever.
It's just a nuisance.
This one's got your name on it.
You don't see that one very often. Those two almost never have a hammer attack. Thank you. Into the center, into the center, into the center. Oh my goodness, we're so running low on energy. Oh my goodness, we're getting so low. We should have, like I said, we should have a break point after those four. That'll feel about right.
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Being able to get back to the ship from this next area is about right. Alright, so here is our save point, because that's a boss room. Alright, so that's where we're going to break for tonight. We're going to break right here, right before this boss room. And unlike normal, I'm actually going to use that thing before I go into the boss, because we are hurting. But thank you for dropping in. Like I said, we're going to finish this on Friday. So that's the thing. And then, assuming it doesn't boil over again to Saturday, then we'll be going back to Mega Man on Saturday. So if you're not following, I do recommend you do so if you want to catch up on the story. And like I said before, if you go over to YouTube, then you can pick up all of my old content there. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. And if you want to know what's going on with like my D&D and my art and stuff like that, go over to Twitter. And you can see when I go on live and whatnot in all three of those cases. So, thank you for dropping in. I greatly appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And I hope to see all of you next time.